birthday. That's number one. It is my
Ooh.
birthday. You're looking at Zone 4 Sports. Griff, why you call it Zone 4 Sports? Because when you play sports in basketball or football, when you get in the fourth quarter or the fourth period, you got to be in a zone. And I just brought a whole bunch of people with me that's about that life. And I'm going to bring them on right now. Number one, I would like to bring on the coach. He knows everything about a whole bunch of things. To be a coach of high school football for 25 years, the dude knows random information about the NHL, soccer, rugby. I'm a fan. Ladies and gentlemen, that is not the coach. That is DP. I mean here. That is not the coach. That's actually Justice. So
Justice got
if
the
that,
25.
yeah, Justice got the, hold on, and then you got the Justice Marshall George. Let me just bring everybody up at the same time. It's my birthday, and I have been celebrating. So there go everybody right there. There go Justice Marshall. there
I
go
dig it.
there go George, obviously
I dig it.
broadcasting from
So,
Cartoon Network headquarters. We appreciate him.
you see the
There
back.
go the coach, bottom right, superstar Justice Marshall. I would like to get right into it, guys. It was an amazing, crazy week of football. People are talking to us. What up to Martin Snow, checking us out all the way in Newfoundland, Canada. Newfoundland, Canada, where it is probably 50 degrees and they going hard right now. Thank you, man. They saying happy birthday to me. I appreciate it. Let's talk about this NFL. Let's go to the 3-0 teams first. George, I know you have some notes. First of all, tell us who the 3-0 teams are and what do you like about these 3-0 teams? Even if you just know them, because when I think of 3-0, I'm thinking right now Aaron Rodgers, Seattle. Then you got Phoenix in there, man. George, talk to us, dog.
We got Pittsburgh is 3-0. They got Big Ben back. So they're rolling with Big Ben. The defense is playing good ball. So you got them up there. They're forced to be reckoned with. They're in the same division as Baltimore and Cleveland, who are both 2-1. So that's going to be a tough division this year because you got some good players in there. Tennessee is 3-0. So
Right.
basically they're picking up from where they left off last year, minus that game, the playoff game that they lost. But they're playing like real football. They run the ball and they play defense. That's what I know. That's what I'm partial to, and it's going good for them. Who else you got? Of course, the Super Bowl champs, Kansas City Chiefs. They're 3-0. Did you see that game the other night?
Woo! We gonna talk about that. Just hold on.
Yeah,
Just
but
just just stay on the
we'll
three. Right.
yeah,
We
yeah,
got a
yeah.
nice little
They're 3 and
segment
0.
about Lamar and Patrick.
They're doing chief things. They had a scare last week versus the Chargers and that defense that they have, but they got back on track the other day. And then you got the great Aaron Rodgers.
Woo.
That's you see what happens right now when you draft a quarterback in the first round and you already got a stud quarterback. He picking it up. He don't want to give it up too quickly just yet. He's like, sit down, young fella, just like I had to sit down behind Brett. So,
Absolutely.
that offense is going bonkers, and the running back Aaron Jones, he's doing his thing.
I love
Mhm.
it. Justice. We got Justice over here. Justice, your 3-0 teams, who do you like the most and why? And what did you think? Well, Justice here, let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room. Justice, you
It's
know
an elephant to you,
it's an elephant to me. You
to you, not to.
Justice is a New England Patriots fan, and
Oh yeah, all
uh,
day.
Belichick was pretty much Belichick on the Raiders. What did you think about that game? Why did Belichick run people that nobody never saw before and make it look
Mhm.
easy? It kind of sucked for the Raiders because I think you practice for your Julians and your Cams, and then he runs three running backs, not just one, three. Go ahead.
I mean, One thing you got to remember is that most people, they go into the games with the Patriots, they expect to see the usual players. So Belichick constantly has to be thinking, what can I do that they won't expect me to do? Like, he doesn't want to get caught up in the same situation he did with Seattle, where everybody knew he was going to run Cam in. So he's going to have to come up with some new, different things to do. But as far as 3-0 teams that we have not talked about,
Right.
we need to talk about them Bills.
Woo!
We need to talk about the Bills.
The Bills.
Yeah.
We need to talk about the Bills. And I think personally, they're not getting enough love and respect from me.
Man.
I think they get glazed over, but they're doing really good. Last season, they had a pretty good season. And this one, they're doing great. Josh Allen is really doing something up there.
What you say, George? Go ahead.
I missed to mention the Seahawks. The front runner MVP.
Sierra husband.
Yes, that one. the fella with the curly hair that's going crazy on everybody.
Oh, dog.
He's going nuts.
I love that. Coach, I want to go to Coach real quick. Coach, you tell me, I got all y'all up here right now, but Coach, you tell me who you like and why. It's 3-0 is undefeated, but tell me why you like your team the most.
Well, the team I like versus the team I'm going to talk about. I like the Chiefs, but the 3-0 team that nobody talks about has a new quarterback this week. How many 3-0 teams, all of them have a former Super Bowl MVP at quarterback?
Yeah.
The Chicago Bears.
Oh, man.
Chicago Bears are sitting they bench Trubisky, about time. And they go and I don't know how difficult it is for coaches, but if I have a Super Bowl MVP, a guy who was the best player on the field on the biggest football day on the planet, and he's on my roster, I have to play that dude. And I'm certainly not going to bench him for Mitch shouldn't be there stealing money, should be with a clipboard and a backwards cap Trubisky.
You know what? I'm still not a believer in Nick Foles.
I don't know why. Why?
But because
you see the Eagles, they weren't a believer. Now look at them.
Nick Foles is living right. That's why you can go with him, because he's living right. That ball hit all the Falcons' hands last week. It somehow never ended up intercepted. It somehow ended up into his receiver's hands. He just has very, very, very good luck. But I'm still not a believer. He was on a team that I worked for before, and it didn't go that well. So, but hey, shout out to him. He's on a 3-0 team. We'll see if they can keep it going. I'm not a believer in the Bears.
I don't think they stay. I don't think they're one of the elite teams in the league. I just found it funny that amongst all of this, all the hype teams, the Bears are sitting over there cheesing in the corner like, y'all go ahead. We're going to be with this 3-0. Y'all go ahead.
But you got to look at their schedule, though. That's also one reason that not many people talk about them. Schedule.
That's good, Justice.
That's why no one's really getting into the Texans like that, because they've got a really tough schedule. They're 0-3, but they've got a really tough schedule. They're losing its teams you expect them to lose to. So that's why nobody's all like, oh my God, the Texans suck. But that's why I'm not giving the Bears too much credit. I like Nick Foles. I like Nick Foles a lot. I feel like the Eagles should have kept him. I don't know why I don't know what happened with all that discourse. And now you look at them. Can we talk about the Eagles? Can we? This has been a very...
Let me get that one more time, Justice. How it go?
Binky's my older brother. He is a big Eagles fan.
Of course he is.
I'm gonna text him. He's on Twitter and he puts his team's record and it says 0-2. So I texted him today like, you're not gonna put that tie in your record.
Yeah, now he don't. Yeah, now he ain't on social media. Now he hates social media. What about
he retired now?
Hold on. What about Justice? Who's the worst team in the NFL to you right now? Even if they're not 0-3, who's the worst team standing
Falcons.
out to you right now? I want to know.
You don't even have to finish the question. Falcons. The Falcons are the worst.
Oh my!
They make me so sad. They make me so sad, and let me tell you why. Because they have so much potential. They have an
Oh,
endless amount of potential, and that's what makes me sad. That they could be one of the best teams in their division, but they got Dan Quinn. And who's to blame for that? Arthur Blank is to blame for that. And
man.
he won't just let this man go. He needs to get on.
Come on, George. Worst team in the NFL. Why, dog?
I'm gonna the Giants gonna have a hard time winning the game. They just not good. They lost their best player. They weren't good to begin with their best player, and they're struggling right now. We're gonna see what they can do with a new coach and all that good stuff. But they're not very good. It's gonna be between them and the Broncos. The Broncos lost some key defenders, and so we'll see, man. It's gonna be rough. It's gonna be a rough time for those guys.
They're saying DP before I bring you on, man, and I definitely want to know. Q Truth Nicole from Atlanta is saying the Atlanta Falcons to me too, and I love my team, but they suck right now. And then from Newfoundland, Martin Snow is saying you just gotta call them like it is, man. Y'all over here ruthless. DP, worst team in the NFL, no matter what their schedule is, my friend.
Well, I fall from this, and George, I understand that the coach will say you are what your record says you are. Like you can dress it up all the other ways you want. We will find out. I'll say this is two parts. One, we're gonna find out a big part of this tomorrow night when
Absolutely.
when we play in the Trevor Lawrence and the Justin Fields Bowl and find out who the two worst teams are because ain't neither team won a game. Denver hasn't won, the Jets haven't won, and we get to watch them play each other, fumble on each other's sidelines, and throw each other interceptions tomorrow night. Now, the worst team in football, it's like this: 5 boroughs, 2 teams, 0 wins. The Jets and the Giants haven't won a game. I can't imagine. New York must be on suicide watch because they love their football and they don't have wins.
Best team in New York is the
Hey,
Bills.
Wow.
I'm sending out thoughts and prayers to all my New York football fans because y'all having a tough time. I'm praying for you. I hope you get a win. Don't hurt yourselves no more.
You know the funny part is there. My man Fred, who's a diehard Raider fan, just said the Jets. You. So when I think of the worst team in the NFL, and I'm looking at their schedule, and I see all the 0-3. Martin Snow from Newfoundland said, "Record is what it is. You can't dress it up. It's like putting lipstick on a pig." Now, first of all, whoever is wasting great Mac products on a pig, you got way other problems. But I like to say, what about the Dolphins? What about the Dolphins? Yeah, they're 1-2. They're so unproven. The Bills have been good for the last 2 seasons, and nobody wants to just say that out loud. Maybe 3. George, you could correct me if I'm wrong, but the Bills have been working towards something. Miami goes and drafts Tui, the youngin from Alabama who was hurt coming in. He was already hurt coming in. They not even giving him no PT over Fitzgerald. I'm confused. Coach, why would you take the 3rd or 4th pick and then don't want to do nothing with it?
As the shirt says, because offense. Nobody takes 2 or gets that pick where you can go out and you could have got a game changer at linebacker. You could have got a boundary setter on defense. Could have got a star quality runner, star quality receiver. What the Dolphins did is went and drafted a clipboard holder. And that's just why
Wow.
the Dolphins are the Dolphins. Look, play that dude or let him be free. Like you can't hold on to your girl, she don't want to be there. If I'm Tua, I'm trying to find a way that you need to get out of town. Like, let me go. If you love me, let me free.
Online, my man Marvin, Detroit just said facts. Q said that's true. And then here, they're talking about the Cowboys online. I'm going to let all y'all say one thing about the Cowboys. Justice, you first. Hey, that boy done threw for 900 yards and almost 1,000 yards in 2 games. You cannot blame Dak Prescott for nothing. Justice.
I don't have anything good to say about the Cowboys. I don't like the Cowboys. There's nothing about them that's interesting to me. They're not fun football. When I'm watching a game with the Cowboys, I'm always rooting for the other person, no matter who they are. I think we give Dak Prescott too much, we give Aaron Rodgers too little, and we give Russell Wilson too little. And that's just the way I feel about it.
Look, in my DNA, born and bred in Washington, D.C., it's in my DNA. Now, I was home trained. And my grandmother, rest in peace, my mother, rest in peace, raised me proper. That whole thing, if you ain't got nothing nice to say about somebody, don't say nothing.
That's where you go. That's where you go. Good. Okay. So let's skip that. George, what's your big game this week? Oh, here. Let's not go there yet. Monday night, Patrick Mahomes versus Lamar Jackson at Baltimore. It looked like the debates yesterday. It was ugly from the beginning, and it just never, even in the little closest part, they was going to go close. George Foster, you played in the NFL. You know how big the game is. Y'all both undefeated. If you lose, don't you want it to be 17-14, or do you want to go get the whole score ran up on you, homie?
You don't want none of that. You want to win that joker. Like off the top. Facts. Big old facts. A 1-point loss or a 30-point loss, all it means is the coach button will be tight, a little tighter the next day. Because an L is an L. Well, so those guys, they went in, they're two good teams. You got an amazing offense against one of the league's better defenses. And how we talked about him last week, Mahomes is just that dude, man. He came out, he was dropping dimes. The man was getting hit. He was getting put on his back, throwing 77,000 yards down the field. Dropping it into the hand of the receiver. And then they got up big time against the Ravens. I thought that game could have been a lot different had the Ravens settled down, not panic, and went with what they went with later on in the game. They just started running the ball right down the Chiefs' throat, like no problem. Gus Edwards and Lamar, Lamar looked like he had a jetpack in his back. Like they couldn't catch him every time he went around.
Acme jetpack with looking for the road runner, but TNT.
And they moved the ball and scored. Had plenty of time left. They went away from that and just started slinging it everywhere. Again, Lamar ate up in the pocket, and then that's how they stopped their momentum. You got to stick with what you know because they had plenty of time, and I think that game would have been a much different game.
Justice, Baltimore, Kansas City Chiefs. It was a battle of the quarterbacks, but I think Harbaugh got out-coached.
I mean, yeah, honestly, the way it looked to me was that the Chiefs made the Ravens look ordinary.
Wow.
Simply. In any other game, the Ravens wouldn't be able to dominate that, but against the Chiefs, they just looked ordinary. They looked sad. They looked like it. Remember, if I used to play a game against my older brother, like 8 years older than me, just push me in the face. That's what it looked like. And I want to say, mediocre sports media will make you think that there's some kind of competition going on between Lamar and Patrick. Patrick isn't worried about Lamar. This isn't the new Peyton Tom. It isn't.
Man.
It's Patrick versus Lamar, and Patrick is outplaying him every time.
Wow. DP.
I was with George. We were kind of tip-tapping back and forth during the game, and it was just that. Like, from a coaching standpoint, I was mad. I was upset with the coaches than I were with the players. Like, I really wanted to understand how you didn't understand what your strength was in this game. To get talked into playing the Chiefs game at the Chiefs pace.
Oh, man.
I didn't understand it, and I was screaming at the TV. And go back to last week, and I said the difference between both quarterbacks are stars, but Patrick Mahomes has some dudes next to him. He's got some dudes, and the guys that play for the Ravens in skill position, they're nice. They're not dudes.
They're
not
not
do.
dudes.
And it showed. It showed Andy Reid was in Harbaugh's playbook, that the coaches had out schemed them, they had outworked them, and so I felt bad for Lamar because I wanted for him to have his dudes play at the right level on a big night. They didn't. They looked poorly. They'll either get better or they'll get used to being in second place.
Listen, that's so good. As I watch the game, I'm looking at Lamar and I'm going, Lamar, they're not blaming it on anybody except you, dog. They're not gonna sit and say, well, the defense, Lamar, you lost to that boy. And that's the bottom line. And until he understands that, and look, we got the the Raiders have the Bills this weekend, and then we have the Chiefs
It's gonna be
next.
a good game.
Our first 5 games, it was a hard schedule. Derek Carr has never beat Patrick Mahomes. And until you get that hump off that's a hump you don't even want. Listen, the hunchback of Notre Dame will swap out his hump for that hump. You don't want that Patrick Mahomes hump. And DP, not only did you call it, George, you said he's being tackled, and at the same time, he's throwing 70 yards down the field. How unfun is that on the defense, George? And what do you say as a coach on the side, man?
Did you see some of those throws he was making? Like it was either the first or the second touchdown, the one that the cheetah caught in the end zone. Like that was a perfect pass, perfect defense.
Yeah.
Like I believe it was Marcus Peters. He was right there, and so it's like what can you do? Everything he was like in the zone. Like you know how Jordan had those games where he just couldn't miss and he just throw it up like that. It's one of those games. Mahomes was in his zone. Everything he did was work. Andy Reid was in there, mad scientist style with the. By the way, his face mask is glorious to me. I love his face mask.
Last week it was fogging up. It kept fogging up. They was clowning him, so he just adjusted his some, put the mic on the inside. he looked like Thanos from.
he real Iron Man style with the mask, and he over there mixing it up. And I love it. So everything he did was working. He got Edward Solaire involved a lot, man. So it's like, what can you do? Everything that the Ravens dialed up failed.
Well,
so you player, you looking at coach like, what's going on? What's going on? What we gonna do? They couldn't do anything with it. It was just one of those games. You have to chalk it up, and then they go in there Monday, see what's going on, have your off day Tuesday, and Wednesday get back to work because you couldn't do anything.
DP, who you like this week, man? What's a game that's going to make you really watch and over all the games?
I was going to watch Tennessee and Pittsburgh, but apparently that's not going to happen.
They got a little bit of that Roni.
I guess folks don't know how to behave when you got a $25,000 fine for not covering up, not doing your business. Listen, the small things equal big things. And those little details tells me that the organization, the leadership, whether it be from Minnesota, Tennessee, Pittsburgh, when you're in these situations, you have to handle little stuff. If you can't wear the mask on the sideline, if you're too good for a small thing, that shows up. It always shows up. You think you're cheating. George will tell you, if you're running sprints, you run suicides, right? And we're going from 10-yard line to 20-yard line. And there's 3 or 4 guys that you know are going to go past the line, and there's 3 or 4 guys that's going to short the line. And then those are going to be the dudes that when you need for them to have the extra little bit, you can't count on them. And that's just crazy that we're still doing this during COVID. Listen, man, go to work, play the game, show up at the bank on Tuesday with that nice check deposit. Repeat.
17 weeks. Repeat.
Like, you ain't got to do extra. You ain't got, look, Starbucks is going to be there next week. It's going to be there in December. It's going to be there. That girl that called you to love you so much on Instagram with 15,000 followers, she gonna be there in January too. Guess what? Her and her sister. So just go get your check on Tuesday, come home, go to work, repeat until January. Simple business. We can have. That's why we can't have nice things. We won't do bad stuff.
George?
Yeah, I think, and I'm not too tough on them because, like, they're not, as much as we know about this thing, COVID, we don't know a lot. We don't know how people get it. Like, we know it's in the air.
We know it's
And,
happening.
you want to, we know it's happening. You say stay your 6 feet, wear your mask, but we don't know what's happening. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna be too hard on them, but yeah, they gotta. You're in a position where you can't be like everybody else. Like, you literally have to go to practice, come home, go to practice, come home, do your Instacart and all that good stuff. You got to do it for 17 weeks, but you got to do it for a fat check. Like, the smallest check is pretty fat. You know what I mean? And so they got to do it, and it's just something they got to do. Now, these guys have families too, though.
Yeah.
You got to understand, those families are not under the same protocol, and maybe they need to get on board too. So you don't know what they're bringing into that part. Yeah. So you don't know if they're bringing it in the house to the players or whatever. But so hopefully it's nothing that spreads too far within the Titans, and that everything's gonna go well, because they're not canceling the game. They're postponing it like 2
They're
days.
just moving it, right?
They're gonna play Monday or Tuesday. So hopefully they did their contact tracing. I have a little bit of, like, a little intimate relationship with people that's still in the league, and I've been told how the process goes with the testing and all that stuff. It's pretty tight.
Yeah, it's intense.
And so they get tested every day. They're gonna get those results like every morning, 3-4 in the morning. They're getting those results. So I'm pretty sure they got a hold on who it was in the building, who they contacted. They got bracelets and
Absolutely.
all this stuff. Who you come in contact with is pretty. What I want to say. I don't know what to say. I don't know. But you get the picture.
Right, I get it. So let's change the sport. It was really fun. So for the people out there, thanks for everybody who's watching right now. Big shout out to Shirley that's watching right now. We got somebody on YouTube watching us speaking straight Spanish. Feliz cumpleaños. That's what I know. It was very fun watching you guys talk about the fight that happened over the weekend. I watched Justice and I watched Coach go back and forth like children. I felt like I had to break it up, and sometimes they was going in so hard on each other. So can you two explain the fight that happened over the weekend? Justice, go ahead.
Okay, so I watched mostly the main card. So I watched Dominic Reyes against Jan Blachowicz. That was your light heavyweight fight. And then at middleweight, it was Israel Adesanya versus Paulo Costa. So we're going to start with the co-main. So we're going to start with Dominic and Jan.
Okay.
So coming in, most people, at least in media, we're acknowledging that Dominic Reyes pretty much won that Jon Jones fight.
Yeah.
And if you don't know who Jon Jones is, he's considered to be one of the best mixed martial artists of all time. Okay, and his last fight was against Dominic Reyes, and it went down to a decision, and they gave it to Jon, but most people would say that Dominic Reyes won that fight. So coming in, you're expecting him to win this fight. Jan Blachowicz, he's a Polish guy. The Polish MMA is not that big. They've only had one champion, and it was a woman named Joanna. But he came in saying, I'm carrying Poland on my back. Very humble guy. So is Dominic. They don't have bad blood, so it wasn't as interesting as the Adesanya Costa fight.
Right.
But yeah, going in, I'm watching it, and I'm just like, wow. Reyes just didn't show up. He just didn't show up at all. Like, the same, if he'd just given part of what he gave Jon Jones, it would have been a more interesting fight, but he didn't. And Jan Blachowicz just just tore it up. He deserved it though, absolutely. So going in, that was one of my first thoughts. And then I'm watching Adesanya versus Costa. I was already pulling for Israel. Okay?
Right,
He's
I know.
my guy. I told you about it. And he just tore Costa up for real. He really did. But we also, if we're talking about this, we also got to talk about what's important. Israel's titty. We're going to talk about
Israel's what?
His titty. He had a titty. Let me tell you what that means, okay? If a man has a titty in the UFC, that means he has gynecomastia, and there's only one way you can get that. That's by juicing. So now a lot of people think that Israel Adesanya is on performance-enhancing drugs because he had like one random titty. I will send you guys the picture later, but it was just like he had a titty.
Like a proper breast, Justice? I see George,
like
DP, you agreeing as well.
Like
he had one. The thing was he had one. Like he had, no, it was just one. Like everything else.
Just one. Just
yeah,
one.
It was just one. What was interesting? Like it's funny, right? So Costa came in to the ring 20 pounds heavier than Izzy.
Oh wow.
So he when Justice defined him as juicy, that's generally
I remember.
Rule. This is an enhanced fighter. And if you're going to fight an enhanced fighter, you tend to want to be stronger as well. So Izzy did what I thought he would. Like, I'm not going to go in there and fight this dude 20 pounds heavier than me, free and clear. Great fight. Izzy made himself a lot of money because now
he paid like 600 something.
He can fight John Bones Jones, the pound for pound greatest to ever do it. He can rematch with Costa. He can fight. He can go up or down a weight class, and he has his pick of 15 fighters in 3 weight classes to choose. So he just go to the bank, call yourself ATM, because he can pick and choose, and he's going to make a lot of money. Now, right now, currently, I don't think there's any. It's him and Khabib that are 1A and 1B as the best fighters. As far as the men are concerned, I think the universal best fighter in the world is a woman, is Amanda Nunes.
Oh yeah. Amanda Nunes is
the best
crazy.
fighter in the world.
But did you see it might be Weili Zhang versus Rose next big female fight?
Griff, they call her name is Rose Namajunas, and they call her Thug Rose.
Wow.
Thug Rose. Like, she just don't care. Rose is a beautiful girl, but she decided she didn't want to be a pretty girl fighter. So she shaved off all her head. She shaved off all her hair. And that's where the nickname Thug Rose came from.
Let me tell y'all something.
But this Chinese champion,
she's crazy.
Has the greatest workout videos that I have ever seen, man, female, heavyweight, lightweight, or other. Like, she's over there doing some real ninja stuff.
She's insane. She's the first champion to come out of China.
Yeah.
And I watched this fight that she had with, remember how I said that there was only one champion that came out of Poland? This was a woman named Joanna, I don't know, because with your Y's. But she's had lots of successful defenses. She lost the belt, all this, that. She's a very successful fighter. And Weili fought her. And when I tell you, she had that girl looking like an alien.
What she look like, Jess?
An alien. And she was going really in on Weili on all the, you're Chinese, you barely speak English. Weili was like, I bet. But remember how I was talking about Covington last week and how crazy that guy is? They were saying, I'm sure you've heard the name Jorge Masvidal before. If you haven't, I'm sure you've heard the name. Now, he was supposed to do Nate Diaz again. There was supposed to be a rematch. Nate Diaz lost, of course, because he's Jorge Masvidal, lost. But Covington was talking a lot of mess, and Dana White's now saying the fight that's going to happen is going to be Masvidal, Covington, and that's going to be insane because Jorge Masvidal don't do as much as the BS talking like Covington does, but he's such an entertaining fighter. flying kick to the face. So entertaining.
Hey, here is Martin Snow from Newfoundland is asking all of us, what about Iron Mike returning to the ring? George, well, hold on. Let me just
That's
say,
a money grab.
let me just say, you go into the ring with Mike Tyson if you want to, and call him old, and say he smoked weed, and say you go in there then. Go in there. That's like a dog that's in the backyard who you know ain't getting food, who you know they not feeding well, and you talking about I don't know if he bite. Go out there and see. That's all I'm saying, George. Mike Tyson.
Hey, first of all, I'm gonna come back to Mike, but we gonna rewind this a little bit. The Adesanya fella, let me tell you something. If you whoop me and you start breakdancing in the ring while they working on me,
No, when I tell you he started breakdancing,
he started break. Hey,
he was Naruto running around.
Costa, what is it? Costa. He done getting worked on. Like the people working on him. The other Izzy out there breakdancing. Like if you breakdancing while I'm about dead, I gotta come see you with the toolie. I gotta come see you, man.
That's the only way he can come see him. He's not about to fight him again.
Wait, with Iron Mike, from my understanding, first of all, them Iron Mike videos of him training right now are terrifying. No
terrifying, dog.
And I ain't scared of no man that ain't got no gun on him. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not messing with. Hey man, y'all see them videos, man?
Terrifying.
Come on, man. The man 53 and he got me scared. But he's supposed to be fighting Roy Jones, and Roy wasn't no punk.
Yeah, Roy wasn't no punk, but Roy ain't been George DP. Roy ain't been fresh. Roy wasn't fresh when he was on the way out the ring, dog. Roy don't want this smoke.
His way out either now. Mike wasn't fresh on his way out now.
Roy said
Mike was very unfresh.
Roy said this might be a mistake. Like Roy Jones said himself.
I didn't see that.
This might be a mistake.
Wow. But they say it's for, I don't know how serious Mike gonna take it, but they say it's for charity.
You're not gonna beat my ass for St. Jude. I don't care what we talk about. You're not gonna put hands on me if I got children.
Help me with it.
You're not gonna. It ain't a chair. It ain't enough charity. You could line up 9 charities, and Mike Tyson not gonna beat me up, dog. You can make all the jokes you want to. Oh, he be biting ears. He be also knocking people out, dog.
Move out.
Come out there with one good ear. You better be worth it.
Hey, DP, let's switch it. That's to Martin. Thank you for the people that's watching us, man. We Zone 4. We just out here keeping it real as much as we can with these sports. DP, the playoffs in baseball have started. This Atlanta game had everybody's stomach hurt. Do you want to break it down? It was cool to hear the commentators say, not the commentators. It was cool to hear A-Rod, the Alex Rodriguez who got $1 billion off of baseball, casually say, it's like March Madness. I love it.
Yeah, this is unlike any other baseball year we've ever had. We haven't had 8 baseball series. You haven't had 8 baseball series, best 2 out of 3, almost, lose one, go home kind of deal, all at the same time. Today, there will be 8 playoff baseball games on the same day. So all of the things that you normally do as a team, as a manager, are out the window. Look, you lose today, your season may be over.
Right.
So you've got to use your best players whatever way you can use them. Your bullpen is everybody. It's everybody. And there is no home field advantage because there are no fans. So to have Houston succeed, the Dodgers play tonight. The Yankees look like the Yankees last night.
Yes, sir.
If you're in the league, the 2 teams that your eyes are focused on, the Yankees and their 1 through 9 is as good as anybody in baseball. Nobody has that. Matter of fact, their 1 through 12 is better than anybody in baseball. The Dodgers in the National League, their 1 through 12 is pretty good. The Astros, their 1 through 8 is pretty good. It will be fun because there'll be upsets. I mean, Cleveland's still trying to figure out, wait a minute, what happened?
Yeah.
Minnesota hasn't won a playoff game in 16 years. That means somebody's son, junior Minnesota Twins, played and still can't win. It's fascinating to watch. Yesterday and today is fun.
DP, you're gonna put some respect on my Braves name too.
There
now.
you go.
We pretty sweet this year now. We pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. We got the MVP. We got the home run leader. You know, our pitching. We're decent. We got better. Our pitching is better from that part. It's better from last year. It's better than last year.
Yeah,
it's better than last year, and we were this close to going to the series. And our pitching is better this year than last year. Batting is actually better this year too. So I think we got a chance.
Absolutely. And let me tell you, I spent 30 years of my adult life rooting for the Atlanta Braves. Until Washington got his team. I tell you, when Turner Broadcasting came in back in the day, I said it last week. I go back. I'm Claudell Washington, Atlanta Braves. Yeah. I'm Chris Chambliss, Atlanta Braves. I'm Bob Horner and Bob Watson and all the old heads.
It's interesting you say that because most people don't realize that the Braves really were the only team East other than like the New York teams, really. Mm-hmm. Like people from the Cardinals down and from like Virginia and Washington down, Florida, they're all Braves fans.
Yeah.
West to Mississippi,
For them, I wish them well. The only problem was they put them in the division with my Washington Nationals, which means that, look, bro, you're my best friend, but blood is blood.
I love it. Okay, here. Let's do this now. This is what everybody want to know, real quick. Tonight, the finals have started in the NBA. You got the Miami Heat who everybody's still saying, how did Heat get in there? Even though that coach got him some championships and he played with the best. Then you have LeBron James, who, first of all, LeBron is so used to everybody loving him and everywhere he go and everything that he does. It's been very uncomfortable for him in Los Angeles where they like, yeah, whatever, LeBron, you'll never be Kobe Bryant. So who do y'all have tonight, game 1? And whoever wins, does that mean it's going to be the Lakers in 5?
We're starting it off. I'll start it off. I'm an unabashed Laker fan. Been a Laker fan since James Worthy. Griff know this. I love me some Lakers. And like you said, LeBron has a lot to prove. For the first time, he may have more of a chip on his shoulder because people they're not. If you look at all the pundits and the analysts, like early on this season, it was Clippers. They say the Clippers were the best team in the league by far. They said the Lakers didn't have enough. They're a 2-man team, one-trick pony, and they fought through all of that. Then they had to pause the season, go into the bubble. Everybody talking about the Blazers was going to be a tough out. They smoked the Blazers, and then so on and so on. So I think he has a chip on his shoulder. He's coming in. He wants to win for the city. He wants to win for AD. This whole team is galvanized behind the unfortunate and untimely death of Kobe Bryant.
Absolutely.
And so they definitely want to do it for Bean and his family. And I'm hoping for him too. On a realistic side, I think this game 1 tonight is going to be very important. I'm interested to see how the Lakers and Heat play. I think it's going to be the barometer for the rest of the series.
DP,
but I think that it's hard to bet against the Lakers.
Coach, is Jimmy Butler a fluke?
Most of the basketball dudes that I talk to who mention Jimmy Butler call him a fake tough guy. He's a fake tough guy. But It doesn't mean he's not a great basketball player.
Explain fake tough guy to somebody who might not be all sports head like us.
Jimmy Butler makes the faces and says the word, but when it came down to knuckles, it wasn't gonna happen like that.
Oh man,
it wasn't gonna happen like that. And in basketball, that can work. That can work. I like the way Jimmy plays the game. I like how he goes after it. As a matter of fact, I think Miami wins game one. I don't think they win the series, but I think they win game one to set us up to really look at the Lakers.
Good.
Like to really look and see, is this a great team? Maybe it get a little, friction. Greatness requires friction. And this Laker team won't count unless the Lakers give them some resistance. This win will have an asterisk by it if Miami Heat does not give them some friction. And if they blow out the Miami Heat, everybody gonna say, "Oh, it's it's COVID year, it's an asterisk year. Oh, y'all didn't play nobody." But if the Heat steps up and gives them one tonight, tonight or game two, then you can look at Anthony Davis and LeBron and say, "You know what? Y'all earned this one. Go ahead and take it."
Justice.
I mean, my basketball opinions are pretty bare. I'll watch a game. I'm not an expert, but I like the Lakers for it. It's also one of those other things I can't say anything else or I'm gonna get in trouble. So I would go for the Lakers.
Her brother, her brother is a die-hard Laker fan, and I'll quote him. He said, Julian Blanding said, Lakers in 5. A couple things. Number one, that boy for Boston, I'm a fan. That young man from Duke, he wants it. He played so good, kind of with no help. Where was his point guard for the last 3 games of that whole? You know what I'm saying? Where was Kemba? Somebody need to pick him up and hold him over a cliff and talk to him. Everything you see is yours, Kemba. You just gotta want it. But
stupid.
I think the Lakers are set up to win. It's not another LA team that's not gonna win. And big shout out to Doc Rivers, who got fired, and then who they gonna replace him with? Number one, who you gonna get with a voice better than his? I just think that everybody out here is trying to, I did my best. And if my best wasn't good enough for anybody, that's fine with me.
You talk about his voice, but he has the most memeable face. Do you realize I don't watch basketball, but I have at least 5 Doc River faces in my meme folder in my phone?
Doc Rivers was the man, and it sucks that he is being replaced. But I guess, Erica Campbell, who is not a sports fan from the group Mary, made it very clear. And she don't watch sports. She said, hey, man, if you're not winning, even if the fans and blah, 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 no GM care. It's no way that you're not supposed to make it to the Western Conference Finals with the squad that you had. Best squad out there outside of the Lakers, and they just folded in 7. And the bad part is we knew what the Lakers was going to do to the Nuggets. We knew that the Nuggets wasn't about that. I like the Joker, but the Joker lose to Batman all the time, even in the cartoons. I was watching Batman Lego the other day, and the Joker lost again. So
you gotta tell their general manager to go ahead, pick up the phone, give Arthur Blank a call. Can somebody do it, please?
Hey, somebody posted the other day said wherever Doc Rivers go, they need to take Dan Quinn with him.
Please.
Hey, y'all.
Don't send him to Houston. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Oh, man. Houston.
They're not
James Harden out there partying with little baby. He don't care.
They say James Harden everywhere but the finals.
What are you doing, Beard? What are you doing?
Facts.
Susan
Facts.
Finkler from Toronto said it's still not the same watching without the fans in the stands. I tell you what was funny this week, I must have said 3 times, hey, where the game at? Where they playing? Baltimore, Kansas City, where they playing? It doesn't matter anymore. And if you really think about it, even though they piping in sound, and all Raider Nation hate that y'all using New Orleans Saint fan sound for our games, just for the record. But even though they piping in sound, that stadium is empty. And when you losing, it's emptier. George, 65,000 people, nobody in there, dog.
Hey, man, listen, I'm a fan now. And from the fan perspective, all these sports are fire. I'm enjoying myself. I don't know what they doing with the sound, but it sound official. You know what I'm saying? I know it's big cap, but it's official to me because I'm enjoying it. Because the thing about sports, if you cross those white lines, it's real. You can break your ankle, you can lose your life, you can sprain something, it's all real to the players. You know what I mean? There are some competitive advantages to having fans as far as causing the other team to have to use silent counts and all that stuff as far as football is concerned. But once you cross those lines, man, it's the same game as you played with no fans in the hood. You know what I mean? And you played it with all your heart. And that's what they're doing out there today, because it's still contracts on the line. It's still checks on the line. You playing for your next team. You playing for the next big contract. It's all real ball.
Well, let's get into the Zone 4 Blitz, ladies and gentlemen. Every episode, Susan Finkler in Toronto, Canada said baseball is like watching batting practice. The baseball, I really can't. I mean, it's the playoffs, and it's just on them. But she's absolutely right. But I have to imagine, at least in basketball, you got the dudes on the bench screaming for you. You got some coaches. You got some medical people. It's some folk over there in your corner. Man, when 70,000 people supposed to be somewhere, and it's only a total of about 90 people, like that is as an entertainer, nobody wants to perform in front of at the Georgia Dome. Well, don't let me use the Georgia Dome. Y'all sick out there in Atlanta. Let's use a whole different. Nobody wants to perform. We thought, that's the good part. We thought that the players wouldn't want to be at these empty stadiums, but what we are seeing is they out there playing just like George said, for their checks, for their name, and for their team. So at the end of every show, we do this event called the Zone 4 Blitz. That means all the people on the show, Justice Marshall, Derek Pearson, and George Foster, all have something to talk about real fast. DP, we drew names, and you first. Tell me something good.
2 things. 1, thank you, George, for coming on my radio show, adding to the conversation. Always good stuff. Justice and Griff, y'all up next. Part 2, this thing that happens in NFL this week, Belichick versus Andy Reid.
Oh.
Patriots versus Chiefs. And just it's the NFL. You don't get a break for long before you're remeasured. And if you don't think Belichick hoodie was watching Monday night, was in the lab, you don't think Cam was in the lab? See, Cam will be on the other side and looking at Patrick Mahomes and going, not yet, young man. Not yet.
Justice.
I had to look at the camera for this one. Sean Payton. Penalties all the time don't make your team a good team. It makes your team thugs.
Yeah.
It's not good, clean football to watch. I don't like it. And Drew Brees, I don't respect you.
All right.
Put that out there.
George.
Well, I'm scared. Okay. You're not Little Justice anymore. All right.
Tom
Let's talk
McGuire
about
said, well said. Whoa, Cam.
a little bit of NCAA football. It's looking like we're probably can't say just yet, but probably going to have a new champion this year. You saw Mississippi State. They came in there with Mike Leach throwing the ball all over the place, same routes every possession, took down the defending champions at LSU. That goes to show you how good Joe Burrow and Joe Brady were for the OC from last year and their Heisman winning quarterback. My Bulldogs, we started out slow last week.
Yeah.
We had a new quarterback, new offense, but the defense is extremely disrespectful. I don't know how many teams are going to score against them this year. Looking forward to them playing Auburn this week. Florida got off to a good start last week, in their game, and so it's gonna be an interesting football season with most of the teams playing where all the conferences playing conference schedules, and so it's gonna be interesting. But like I said, once they cross those lines, it's real football. So to me, is everything goes, and so I'm looking forward to see who can win it all this year.
I just like to close it out by saying, as a tattooed Las Vegas Raider fan, to watch Bill Belichick outcoach John Gruden again was great. It was no Raider fan is going to say this, but I'll just say it was great coaching. Who would have thought that they would have put the former defensive player of the year last year on a tight end the whole game? If he was just blocking, Gilmore was on him. If he was just running, Gilmore, I mean, that's number one. But then to run 3 running backs on the defense, take John Gruden all the way. First of all, y'all got to remember that game is emotional to John Gruden. That game, John Gruden will definitely go in the Hall of Fame as one of the greatest coaches to ever coach the game. But he'll be a whole bunch of people behind Belichick. That dude, you don't have to like him. You don't have to appreciate the Patriots, but you will respect his coaching. That's all I'm going to say. Everybody, Justice, tell them how they can contact you. What social media? Go ahead, baby.
My Instagram, my Twitter is who? TF is Justice. Who is she? I don't know. On Instagram, though, the O is a 0. Okay? Don't DM me. I won't answer.
George, how can they get at you?
I'm George Foster 72 on everything.
Yeah, he is.
Everything.
DP.
I am Derek Pearson, DERRICKPEARSON on everything, just like my mama gave me.
Period.
I love that. Shout out to my cousin Tom McGuire saying happy birthday. Then push-ups is waiting for you. What I did was we bet. He's a Patriot fan now, born and raised in California with all his family in Detroit.
Wow.
But he a Patriots fan. But you know,
front runner.
Some of us have slow and special family members. What can you do? You can't disown them. You gotta play out. You gotta play outside with them. Even if they got a baby hand. So I bet him 30 push-ups, and I'm going to give you them 30 push-ups. I'm going to videotape it. Thank all y'all for being out again today. It's Zone 4 Sports, all talk. It's what we do. We will see you guys next Wednesday. If you want to talk to us about anything, just hit me. If you got to say, hey, GRIFF, thank you, Susan. She's saying happy birthday. If you got a question about anything, if you suggest anything, we appreciate you guys. You guys have a great day. Stay blessed. I'm about to go jump in the Gulf of Mexico real quick. I don't know what y'all gonna do, but
That's real player. That's real player right there.
I'm gonna holler at y'all. Y'all